News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Ed Kalegi. Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered a brief 30-hour pause in hostilities in Ukraine that will cover Easter Sunday, even as he continues to resist U.S. pressure for a 30-day ceasefire. The truce is set to end at midnight Sunday, but this afternoon, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky proposed extending the ceasefire. On Saturday, Russia and Ukraine swapped hundreds of prisoners in the war's largest exchange, this according to Russia's Ministry of Defense. Iran's foreign minister said his country has a better understanding with the U.S. on a range of principles after talks Saturday on Tehran's nuclear program, with negotiations to continue next week. Abbas Araghchi told Iran State TV on the Oman-mediated talks in Rome that it was a good session and the negotiations are moving forward. The discussions, which lasted more than 3 hours, will resume Wednesday in Oman with a focus on technical details. J.D. Vance met with the Vatican's second highest-ranking official during his visit to Rome, a meeting that took the U.S. vice president to the governing body of his own faith amid tension with the U.S. over immigration policy. The Vatican Secretary of State, Cardinal Pietro Parolin, and Archbishop Paul Richard Gallagher spoke privately with Vance on Saturday, talks described as cordial by the Holy See. In a statement, the Vatican said there had been an exchange of opinions over global humanitarian issues, with particular attention to migrants, refugees, and prisoners. A divided Supreme Court temporarily blocked President Donald Trump's administration from deporting a group of Venezuelans, granting them a reprieve from being imminently sent to a notorious prison in El Salvador. The order, issued around 1 a.m. Saturday in Washington, came after detainees filed urgent requests in 4 courts to block their deportation from the Blue Bonnet Detention Center in Anson, Texas. Lawyers for the men said they were being put on buses and told they would be deported as early as Friday afternoon. Harvard University says it had no reason to doubt the seriousness and authenticity of a letter it received from the government this month containing demands astonishing in their overreach. We get more on this from Bloomberg's Denise Pellegrini.
The New York Times says the April 11 letter emailed to Harvard included demands about hiring, admissions, and curriculum from the White House Task Force on Anti-Semitism, and citing unidentified sources. The paper says the letter was sent either prematurely or by mistake. A university spokesperson tells us the letter on official letterhead was signed by 3 federal officials and sent from the inbox of a senior federal official. The spokesperson also says even assuming the administration now wants to take back its demands, it appears to have doubled down in recent days. The task force says it and the entire Trump administration are in lockstep on ensuring those who receive taxpayer dollars follow civil rights laws and protect students, faculty, and staff from discrimination. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Gaza's health ministry said Saturday that Israeli strikes in Gaza have killed more than 90 people in 48 hours as Israeli troops increased their attacks to pressure Hamas to release remaining hostages and disarm. Children and women were among the 15 people killed overnight, and some had been sheltering in a designated humanitarian zone, this according to hospital staff. The Federal Reserve Bank has been on hold this year in response to sticky inflation and, more recently, President Trump's aggressive trade policies, which seek to drastically raise the average tariff on imported goods. San Francisco Fed President Mary Daly says the U.S. Central Bank may hold interest rates longer than anticipated due to inflation risks, but could yet cut later this year.
The risks to inflation are more elevated than they were a year ago. So the consequence of that is we might have to hold policy tighter for longer than we had thought, but that doesn't mean tight forever. And because ultimately inflation is coming down.
Mary Daly speaking Friday during an event at the University of California, Berkeley. Most economists expect the duties to lower growth and boost inflation, at least in the near term. Reuters is reporting Volvo is preparing to lay off as many as 800 workers at 3 U.S. sites in the coming months amid uncertainty over how President Trump's tariff policy will affect demand. The Swedish truck maker has informed staff it will cut 550 to 800 jobs at its Mack Trucks factory in Pennsylvania and 2 Volvo facilities in Virginia and Maryland. Volvo needs to align production with reduced demand for its vehicles. The Swedish truck maker employs almost 20,000 people in North America. That's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Ed Kalegi. This is Bloomberg.